but I still don't like that
Oh
color.
my
And then we
God.
flipped it, and then we was like, oh,
Discolored pads, maggots in pads,
Wait, what is going on with my body right now?
and chemical burns from pads. These are the realities for many users of menstrual products, but specifically, always pads. Is there a quality control issue with feminine hygiene products? By the looks of those videos, one might think so. Dozens of other posts on social media show people sharing their own experiences with menstrual products. But before jumping to conclusions, it's important to take a deep dive into how these products are regulated and what they're actually made of. Now, why does this matter? Because at any given point each day, about 800 million women and girls are menstruating. The Harvard Women's Health Study found in 2023, 47% of participants use tampons and 46% use pads. Out of the most recognized brands, Always is at the top. In a $50 billion industry where people who menstruate spend nearly $18,000 in their lifetime on products that, for years, had unknown ingredients. And even though these products are regulated by the FDA, the rules aren't as strict as you might think.
The major improvement that we really push for is that now on any product, any menstrual product, you will see an ingredient label. That is new in the last several years.
Weaving Voices for Health and Justice, formerly known as Women's Voices for the Earth, is an organization that looks at toxic chemicals in everyday products, including menstrual pads.
I mean, technically they're regulated. They're considered medical devices. There are no rules on what these products can be made of, on what sort of contaminants they need to be looking for, what they need to be checking.
States like New York and California have passed bills requiring menstrual product boxes to list ingredients, something Scranton's organization helped push for. She says her team was one of the first back in 2014 to send pads to labs for testing, and the results were concerning.
The chemicals that we found in our testing, those volatile organic compounds, you won't find any of those as ingredients on the label. And the companies are like, we're not intentionally putting those in there. So it's a matter of other products, whether it's coming off the plastics or maybe it's coming off the adhesive. That said, companies are responsible to make sure their products are not contaminated.
Many studies have found chemicals and carcinogens in menstrual products that come into contact with extremely sensitive tissue, potentially impacting reproductive health, among other issues. In 2014, these were some of the chemicals found in Always brand products. As for today's period panic on TikTok, we did reach out to Always, who directed us to their manufacturer, Procter & Gamble. We asked them twice specifically about Maggot Gate and reports of discolored pads. As of our deadline, we had not received a response. But we did hear from someone else in the sanitary product space, Emanuel, founder of the organic period products company, Riff Care.
So what it looks like I'm seeing in those pads is just super absorbent polymers. And also it might be some of the cellulose that's inside of the pad. A lot of girls were commenting and they were saying, oh my gosh, that's just bunched up cotton. And it made me realize how much people don't know about what's actually in pads.
Non-organic period products, like Always, do not contain cotton, despite what some users have claimed online. It's either cellulose or those super absorbent polymers, or SAPs, that hold moisture, similar to what's used in diapers. But Emanuel says there haven't been many studies on their effect on women's health, and that lack of research is exactly what pushed her and others to create organic alternatives.
And I even had one friend who had, worn a pad to go into a sauna and it melted to her skin and ripped her skin off. And having to explain to her that, polyester was plastic and that's why your pad melted and, ripped the skin off your vagina.
Riff Care uses a tree-based pulp that's more sustainable and doesn't require heavy chemical processing. Some other organic brands use cotton. While a few studies have found trace chemicals even in some organic products, they're still considered safer than traditional brands.
I started Riff Care with my best friend, Rebecca, because we had so many hormone imbalances and miscarriages in our early 20s. And we just realized that it was a problem that a lot of women were facing.
But it's not just about discoloration or contamination. Some women say they've experienced another effect from Always pads.
2 months ago, I had the worst chemical burn ever.
Now, some suspect it could have been a bad batch, but I myself experienced the same effect years ago. We spoke with the woman behind that viral video, Stacy Hernandez.
I just felt off down there. It was just an off feeling. And I was like, okay, well, maybe a UTI or a yeast infection, something like that is coming on. But I never had issues with that before, so it was concerning.
As the days went on, the irritation turned into burning, chafing, and an open wound that sent her to urgent care.
People were telling me to use Riel or Honey Pot, things like that. I did switch to it for a while, but then I was like, yeah, this is too expensive. I'm going to the Equate brand.
I mean, I always tell people to stock up on organic products when they're on sale. Other things you can use are period underwear, which I know that they're an initial investment, right? Like some girls own 5 pairs. That's about $100 to get 5 pairs. But at the same time, it's like that $100 is spent over the course of 5 years.
The higher price of organic products comes down to the manufacturing process.
At Riff Care, people were really concerned about things like BPA and PFA, but those are mostly chemicals that are used in the processing of like the polyacrylates and the polyesters. So just by using organic, you know that you're avoiding certain processes, which avoid certain chemicals.
And because smaller companies like Riff Care work closely with their manufacturers, they have more control over quality.
Our pad manufacturers will use gamma ray to clean different things, and they're also in an airtight manufacturing facility, which means that moisture cannot get in.
That was a lot of information. But if you're wondering what you can do, organizations like Scranton's are already working to test products and demand transparency. Yes, you can switch your products, but Scranton says it's also important to speak up. By posting videos like Stacy Hernandez did, you're helping bring attention to an issue that's long been overlooked. Always did reach out to Hernandez for more information, but she said the form they sent her wouldn't submit. And the woman who found a maggot in her pad, she received a $10 coupon. Scranton also says anyone can file a report with the FDA through the MedWatch form if they experience an adverse reaction. One report might not seem like much, but multiple reports could spark real action. With Straight Arrow News, I'm Kennedy Felton. Download our app or visit san.com for more.